Today we're going to go on a little river adventure, not too far from where I live. Now we're not going to do any searching for treasure, but we're just going to motor around and look at the sights. Well, that looks kind of dangerous. Some type of cable or rope or something. I'm not going to touch it because I'm afraid it's going to electrocute me. It's running all the way down the river. Imagine if you got that on your prop, you wouldn't like it. I'm getting ready to float by the piers to a bridge that was built in the 1850s. Now this was burned during the Civil War. It was rebuilt and then it got flooded out, I think, in the 1930s during a big flood. If you look over there at the boat ramp, that ramp is actually the ramp to an old ferry. Now that ferry was in operation in the 1700s, and it went from what was Virginia and is now West Virginia across the river to Maryland. I guess I should have probably turned that motor off a long time ago. I didn't even hear it. But what we're going to do is we're going to go down river, hopefully go up the Antietam Creek, which isn't too far from here. I don't know how far up we can make it. The river is up about 2 feet right now. It's in the kind of semi-hazardous stage, but I think we'll be okay. The Antietam is perfectly normal for this time of year. What do you think? Want to get to it? Let's do it. Right now I'm at the old town dump, and this is where the town would literally just take all their stuff and pitch it over the cliff, and it would just tumble down into the river. This isn't the oldest of the town dumps. This was probably like 50s or something like that. And I'll let you look at some of the bottles and stuff here. As you can see, I don't think this stuff is super old. Well, it might be older than me, but not by much. Hey, what's that? Ooh. That looks interesting. Ah. Jeez, I just broke it. Might have had a name on it, but there's no way I'm going to be able to read that anyway. You can see lots of broken bottles. You know, they're all screw tops, you know, cork tops, lots of pieces of pipe here. But you never know. There could be something interesting thrown in here. I wish I hadn't broken that little bracelet. I don't think I could ever have read that anyway. Yeah, so let's go up here on the bank just a little bit and look around. You see right here, this is actually just a big mound of trash where they've been dumping for a long, long time. Yeah, it looks like people have been digging bottles up in there, maybe. I don't know. We'll just take a quick peek. I know where the older dump is. Got some really good bottles in it, but you have to get down like 10 feet. Yeah, see, this is all new stuff in here. You know what this is, don't ya? This is all clinkers from burning coal. That's kind of weird. Yeah. Looks like whole buildings and stuff up there. Probably a few cars under us too. It's posted, so we're not going to hang around here too long. I used to know the guy that owned this, but he died. His family probably still owns it, but I don't know for sure. This is the sewer outfall for the town of Shepherdstown. Right where I put the boat in, that's where they get the water to drink. And then they pump it out down here after they treat it. And it's about a half a mile between the two. There was a time when they said that they actually got the drinking water below where they dumped the sewage in. I never actually saw that, but that's what everybody tells me in town. Little cave up here I'm going to show you real quick. There's actually some neat caves not too far from here that I can show you someday. But today we're just going to go here. This is like a little shelter. Not really a lot to it. Pretty cool though. Might be a bat or two in here. Yeah, it didn't go back very far. Kind of neat. I don't see any bats. See a few little tiny stalactites though. Looks like it goes out down there. Yeah, let me know if you want to see a few more caves. I know some more in the area. Nothing really big, but it'd be worth checking out. I'm sure the Indians probably use this for shelter when the weather is really bad. Overlooks the river. Probably been dug out 100 times too, I would imagine. You can see Shepherdstown way up the river there, and we're down here at what's called the cement mill. If you look up there, you can see some stone ruins, and there's a bunch more as you work your way downriver. And this is a very interesting place. This mill was built well before the Civil War, and one of the main things they made here was cement. They would mine the limestone from the hills up there. There's big limestone cliffs and caves and stuff. I'll show them to you sometime if you want to see them. And they would mine the limestone and bring it down here and burn it and make cement out of it. Or, you know, kind of crude cement. It wasn't as good as the stuff we have today that we call Portland cement. So they actually had cement during the Civil War. Most people don't realize that. What's behind me is a dam, the remains of the old dam that used to run the mill. This area is so interesting because not only do you have that old history of just the mill, but there was a tremendous battle here during the Civil War. In fact, this is considered the last skirmish of the Antietam campaign. As many of you might know, the Confederates invaded Maryland and Pennsylvania. First time was in '62, and it ended up with the Battle of Antietam Creek, or Sharpsburg as the Confederates call it. Confederates usually name the battles after the nearest town. The Yankees usually name the battles after the nearest river, creek, or mountain. 2 days after Antietam, there's a tremendous battle here. It's called the Battle of the Cement Mill. And if you Google that, you'll probably find it. Just maybe put American Civil War with it. But you'll find it, no doubt. And the reason there was a battle here is because the Confederate Army crossed just below me at what's called Packhorse Ford during the night. The next morning, the Yankees went across the river to chase them, and the Confederates, of course, turned around, came back, and pushed the Yankees into the river here. And there's big cliffs, and a lot of the Yankees died when they fell off the cliffs. And of course, a lot of them got shot. Many of them drowned in the river as they were swimming back to the safety of the Maryland side, and many were actually shot in the river. They say that the river ran red here with the blood of the Yankees. And there was like 200 or 300 of them that got killed here. And the main unit that got slaughtered was the 118th Pennsylvania. And part of their problem was they had newly issued Enfield muskets that didn't work. That little riffle you see is the remains of the dam. In the summertime, it's just rocks. There's very little water that actually goes over it. And we're going to go on downriver to the Antietam Creek, which is right on the bend down there. And we're going to see if we can get up in there a little ways. I'd like to make it to Burnside Bridge, but I don't know if we will. If it was higher, we probably could, but there's a little dam right below Burnside Bridge that I don't know if we can get over. It's only like a foot or two high, but I don't think I can actually climb up with this thing, but we're going to try. Let's go down there and look at it. We're going to go buy some more ruins. I have to keep the motor running because I don't want to go down through here sideways. There's a rock wall there, and that's where the water was actually channeled behind that into the mill itself. And the mill is up in there. You can't really see it from here, unfortunately, but it's up in there. Trust me. All right, let's go on downriver. Now we're down at the mouth of the Antietam Creek, and it is a little bit high for sure. That is the Sino Canal in front of us, and that is actually an aqueduct. The canal itself runs up inside of that bridge-like structure, and what they would do is pull barges along through the water with mules. The mules would walk along a little path, and the barge would be in there with a family who would live on the boat, and they'd go back and forth between Cumberland, Maryland, and down near Washington, D.C. There's a bunch of swallows right there. You can see them feeding their babies. That's kind of neat, huh? I don't seem to really worry them too much. If a cat came around, they would go nuts. They hate cats. As I was driving past, I noticed all these little rocks and stuff on the side of the bank here. And if you look, you can see all kinds of little relics in there. I'm not going to take them because this is actually a national park. But look, there's a big square nail. That square nail. Well, that glass is kind of neat. Let me show you something. Here, this is actually just like obsidian, but it's man-made. This is left over from the furnaces that were here along Antietam Creek. I'm not going to take that either because, again, it's this park, and you're not supposed to take anything in the park. But what I first noticed was that horseshoe right there. Can you see it? I don't know if you saw that in earlier things, but there's some pottery in there and some other stuff. There's big Indian settlements down here along the bank too before the white man came, so there's probably some arrowheads up in there if we look around, or knife points and stuff, but I don't see any just offhand. That's a pretty blue bottle. It's probably milk of magnesia. It's technically park service, so I'm not going to touch it. Picking that up would get you prison time, or at least it could here in the United States. I'm not going to pick it up. Yeah, it looks like a keeper. Probably lost whatever they had in the kayak with them too. Didn't they? Yeah, we'll keep that one. Makes a nice spare. And it's the right price. don't have a real good feeling about being able to make it up here, but we're going to try. Let's do it. That's a really old bridge. So far so good. That's actually the roughest water I've been in yet. We got some pretty rough stuff coming up too though. I don't know if we'll give it a shot. Let's go. I don't know what you think, but I think that was pretty impressive. Wow. Even if it was a little bit shallower, I think we could have gone another 6 inches at least. That's a cool little run. You say it's harder going downstream, but we'll see. That's about the roughest water I think we're going to run into until we hit that dam that's up by Burnside Bridge. So it should be smooth sailing from here on out. I want to say I hope, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to go anyway. A little shallow right here. Let's let it float downstream just a little bit. We don't suck up too many rocks in the jet. All right. That wasn't too bad, was it? That big tree down over there, we should go look for relics. What do you think? Oh, look at the baby ducks. Oops. Poor little babies. Oh, they're small. We'll go ahead and scoot around them on this side over here. Sure is a lot quieter out here without that motor running. We're gonna go up, and when we come down, we'll float a bunch and see what kind of wildlife we can see. Here's a real pretty stretch of river. Man, that's a big tree over there, isn't it? That's a nice one. All right, that's going up. We're almost to the Antietam battlefield. In fact, Snavely's Ford is just right up there. And Snavely's Ford is where the Yankees were able to cross this river for the first time. Well, actually, about the same time they did Burnside Bridge. And that allowed them to flank the Confederates, which made them retreat back across the river, you know, this day after the battle. But it's a nice little set of rapids up here. Ought to be interesting. I guess we ought to fire this thing up and get moving. This thing just crawls right along, doesn't it? I like it. Might have to walk through here. Let's try it. Yeah, it wasn't so bad. That's a big pileated woodpecker right there. It's a giant woodpecker. Pileated or pilated. Depends on where you're from. I wish I could get a better shot of him for you, but he's hungry. He's looking for food. Maybe we can hear him. Sounds kind of like a monkey. So that's Burnside Bridge up there. That was a scene of some very, very heavy fighting in the Civil War. That's zoomed pretty hard. I hope it's not too shaky for you, but that's Burnside Bridge. We're only a few hundred yards below it. And it was the last part of the Battle of the Antietam or Sharpsburg before they crossed the Potomac River down at Pack Horse Ford where I showed you earlier. We can't make it across that dam right there. I could drag the boat up across, but I think we've seen enough. We're going to kind of float down and check some things out on the way back. As you can see, that dam is kind of substantial. There's no way we're going to be able to crawl over that thing. I'm not even going to try. It looks like they're doing some work on the bridge up there too. I see a bunch of scaffolding and some trucks up there. Normally that's not there. So, all right, let's head back, see what we can get into. I want to go over here and see what's in this pill bottle. See if it's full of gold coins. Looks like it's empty though, doesn't it? Gold coins. We're not going to make it. I'm going to leave it. And for you guys that like to go tubing, you can actually put in right here on the national park and float all the way down to the mouth of the creek, you know, where that first bridge was that I went under. Well, the bridge over the Sino Canal. You can take out there. The Park Service has a place to do that there as well. So it's kind of a neat little float. In fact, there's a couple commercial outfits that, you know, you can rent tubes from. And they'll drop you off here and pick you up on the bottom. I guess it's a fun little float. I don't know. There's not a whole lot in the way of rapids. The river is actually kind of high today compared to what it would be like in the summertime when most people go. But it might be worth doing if you're up in this area sometime. Check out all the butterflies over there. That's pretty cool, huh? Let's try to sneak up on them. They're actually feeding a bunch of poo right there. Not sure whose poo that is. Most of them flew off. There's another pile of them gathering up here. Looks like raccoon poo, doesn't it? Alright. I do have my paddles with me, by the way, so if something happens and the motor goes out, we can always paddle back to Shepherdstown, which is probably 10 miles from here now. Oh my God, there's a croc in the river. I just pulled the boat over here for a minute and I heard some scratching up there. And if you look up on the hill, there's a bunch of geese, little babies. Well, I say little, they're not that small, but they still have down on them. Let's go see if we can see them. I know they're up here. I just saw them scooting up this way. Oh, look at it way up there. Wow. I'm going to zoom in for you. See them. I don't know, I'm just going to water. It'd be a lot safer. Oh, mama goose is up there with them too. I don't normally see them climbing hills like this. I can barely climb up here. Look at them all. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like about 9 or 10. Scampering up there. Alright, we'll let them be. Back down to the water for us. Oh, there's one right there. Look. He's sneaky. Alright. That's good ways up the hill. As I was scooting down the river, I looked up there, and it looks like there's a cave or something up in those rocks. Let's go look at it. I have to turn that camera off, but I'll turn it back on once we get up there. It's a very strange looking area, and I think that people have done something here with these rocks, but I don't see any evidence where they were actually quarried out of there. That's that little cave thing I was telling you about. It doesn't look near as impressive down here. I guess let's camper on up there and take a quick peek at it. Maybe it's packed full of muskets. Well, they definitely aren't packed full of muskets or bags of gold coins. It's actually a lot smaller looking than I thought it was going to be. But you never know until you check it out. Hey, probably a good reason to have a buddy with me when I'm on these trips, because if I fell now, this is where I'd lay for a while. My wife knows I came up the creek, so eventually they'd find me, but I'd spend at least one night out here, I'm sure. Busted and disgusted at the base of the cliff. So I'm certain that someone piled those rocks up right there from this area where that cave was behind me. For what reason, I don't know. Again, unless they were just taking the stones away for the canal or something. Alright, whoa. Okay, back in the boat. Never leave the boat. It's an old abandoned house up there. Look at all the trash down here. Apparently they just threw it out the back door or back window or something. It's not that old though. It might be 60s, 1960s. What do you think? Could be even later, maybe 70s. Oi! I guess we hit something. It's a Brogan, Civil War Brogan. Oh, that's creepy. Look down at this bag. It has a piece of plastic. It looks like it's full of toys and creepy dolls. Wow, look at that. Probably worth some money, huh? Oh, look. Miss Piggy. What else is in there? We feel stuff in there. I don't want to get out of the boat. I guess it's just clothes and stuff. Somebody's jacket. I'll let Miss Piggy go over there with, I guess that's Elmo or whoever. Very sad. Ooh, it's a salamander. The salamander. Look, oh, look at him. Here you go, little buddy. At least he got away. Good thing, because they're pretty fragile, actually. Boombox, anyone? Jeez. Man, that thing is massive. Wow, ow. That thing's heavy. I saw something else down below it here too. Go check it out. I think that is. I better hold on to my boat. Something pink. Oh gosh, I hope it's not human. What is it? It is a hammock, I suppose. Someone up there did not like their hammock or their music. Must have pitched it over the side. Oh well. Trashy trashers. Yeah, this whole area down below the house and downstream a good ways is full of trash. I guess this must be a road right up there. People are just throwing it over the side. I saw some big chunks of that glass back there that I had showed you earlier that comes from the furnaces. So that tells me that people have been dumping here for a long time, and that would probably predate the Civil War. So it might be worth coming back here sometime and poking around. Yeah, we'll do that. Not today, but another day. Time to run the gauntlet down here at the bridge. Get ready. I'm gonna try to film it the whole way. I hope I don't crash. Never actually gone downstream like this. Big rock. like we made it. That's about the worst of this trip right there. It's pretty easy coming down. I thought it'd be a lot harder coming down than that. Nah, it was easy. We're golden. We'll see you next time.